Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to start here. U.S. mortgage regulators are considering allowing crypto assets held with regulated custodians to count towards mortgage applications without conversion to dollars. This could help crypto holders qualify for loans, though concerns about volatility and systemic risk remained. I wanted to make the point here that this is how they're going to guide everybody in, and they're not going to have to guide most people. Look, a lot of us that have been here for a long time, in my opinion, self-custody should always be available. It's been it's been an important part of the growth of crypto, but I don't believe. And by the way, there's yard men outside. If you hear a blower or a weed eater or a lawnmower, that's because somebody's outside working on the yard. But my point here is that crypto custody, the majority, especially the big money, is going to be in institutional custody, folks, and they're going to get you in because they're going to say, oh, well, you have to have your crypto with an institutional custodian to be able to use it to borrow or to get a mortgage or this or that. But this is the adult world. This is why I've always said this whole Bitcoin maxi thing, down with governments, down with banks, is silly. That's children's stuff. Where this industry ends up is with everybody having their stuff in institute. Not everybody, but you'll have the option of self-custody, and I think you should. But when you're ready to actually do something with it, use it to get a mortgage, use it to borrow against, use it to earn interest, all of that. And look, some of these hard wallets and all that, they might offer some of this too. But if you want to cash out in your big money or really put it to use with all these services, most of it's going to be in institutional custody. That's why I've already moved a lot of mine, really all of mine. I've got some on Caleb and Brown, and in fact, I just bought a bunch of XRP this morning. Bought that dip at Caleb and Brown. I literally sent, just so you know, I sent them an email. I was actually about to start getting my stuff together and log in and all that business. I said, wait a minute, why am I doing this? All I have to do is send an email to my broker, and then he'll do the trade. So I sent an email to my broker, and I said, hey, that cash that's sitting there, buy a XRP with all of it. And he did. And then I got an email back saying the trade went through. I got a PDF attached to it that showed all the details of the trade. Easy as pie. If you want to open a Caleb and Brown account, go to xrpwealth589.com. That's my little .com that I've created. It transfers you right to Caleb and Brown's website to my page, and you click sign up today. Check it out. We've got XRP had gotten down to $2.94. We're now, let me hit the refresh button. We're now up to back up to $3. And on days like today, I like to give you some perspective. XRP on the year's up 421%. These pullbacks, these are opportunities for me. I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't know your situation. But for my situation, when I see these things, when I see it, actually now the $3 threshold, I think, is like the new level. It's like we're stepping up. We stepped up into the 2 to 3, hung around in the 2 something for a long time. One time it dipped down below 2, and that's when I bought. I'm kind of doing the same thing this time. We dipped below 3, and then I'll scoop a little bit more up. Well, according to Donald Trump, August 1st, which is today, is a great day for America. Maybe we'll see something interesting today. Now here's Bo Hines. He's being interviewed by this guy, Tristan Thompson, talking about crypto.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing about myself and, people at home and people in the trenches, they were so excited when President Trump said, he's going to be the crypto Bitcoin president of the United States. Like, that made people so excited, and made me excited, right? Because, being in the space and going overseas to whether it's token in Singapore or Korea blockchain week, you just see how more advanced it is over there in terms of Web3 and crypto, right? And for us as being Americans and patriotic and wanting to be the best in everything, the time is now, right? Because like you said with your answers, you're saying, things happen fast, especially in this space. The narrative's always changing, right? You go from, we were talking about before we start recording, 18 months ago, I was trading meme coins on Phantom, on Solana, and now I'm sitting with Bull Hines in the White House, right? Like, things happen so fast in the space, and the key is to be on top of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have the meme coin era last summer, then you have the AI, which has a crazy run, and obviously, with President Trump fully behind and understanding the importance of AI, and then now, the next topic now is like RWAs, right? It's the narrative is always changing, and it's on us, especially as the American people and the people that empower, the position that have the eyes, it's on us to spread the word, right? Because in order for us to stay ahead of the curve, and from all
that will truly revolutionize the financial system for decades to come. We're talking about ensuring U.S. dollar global dominance. We're talking about instant transactions, instant settlement times, full transparency. These are all things that the American people benefit from. And I think that you, with your platform, you've just done a phenomenal job of helping to educate folks.
That's right, the giant.
For sure, and how important it is. And that's why I said, when you step foot in this building, I understand the seriousness of doing this job. And, I have to give a shout out to David, who's sacrificed so much to step into this role and be that guiding star that we were looking for. He's truly one of the most remarkable people I've ever been around. The way his brain works is it's hard to even describe or understand. He can see things that other people can. He certainly understands the full picture, and it's been just an amazing experience working with him. And that's a testament to the kind of talent the president attracts. Look.
Okay, we don't have to listen to any more of that. I do want you to hear this, though. These are some of the regulatory bunch of attorneys and whatnot. And this is keeping your eye on the ball, the Clarity Act, which is the infrastructure bill. And here's what's going on with that. This thing, they're thinking is going to pass somewhere around September, October.
I don't even think this is the final draft from Senate Banking, because they also put out an RFI to ask for feedback from industry on a whole host of topics. So DeFi is not covered in this. Bankruptcy remoteness is something that they've also asked questions about, tax, things like that. So this is sort of like a skinny draft, and that I think we'll see a much more robust draft after all the feedback is digested from the RFI responses.
So it's in the works. Okay, this is interesting. This guy drops the bomb.
We do got
This looks like maybe a Bitcoinish show.
A Sol ETF, which I think is next, and then XRP ETF or right be after that. And then we may get...
You're not allowed to say that.
A few more this year, but I think at a minimum we get these two. I think it really depends on the market conditions. If the market is hot again, these two will be enormously... These two will benefit enormously from the ETFs, because you're going to have hundreds of millions to billions of dollars from Wall Street flowing in.
That's correct. Tell me again, Tether wasn't government contracted. Does anybody listening to my voice really believe that the U.S. government would allow this company, offshore company, accumulate $127 billion in U.S. treasuries, surpassing South Korea, if it wasn't a government contracted company, folks? Come on. Use your heads out there. Speaking of using your heads, Michael Saylor is now borrowing more money to buy Bitcoin. Here is him talking about his leverage strategy, which is insane. Do not, I repeat, do not borrow. I'm putting my hands over my mouth. Do not borrow money to buy crypto. Do not borrow money to buy crypto. If you don't have the cash, and I'm not a financial advisor, but this is common sense stuff. Don't borrow money to buy any asset that's highly volatile, because you can get crushed in the short term, even if you believe in the long-term picture, which I do.
Jeff Walton, you're up next.
What Michael Saylor is doing is insane.
He saved you for the last.
Great. Yeah, everybody could ask all the questions before I went. That was perfect. Thanks for having me. Honored to be here. And my question is very similar to Lynn's, but a little bit different framework. Given that Bitcoin and MSTR volatility is near multi-year lows, and strategy has historically targeted a 20 to 30% leverage ratio during the convertible bond era. How does strategy team now think about future volatility, leverage, and do you anticipate revisiting your leverage framework, reflecting the difference in preferred leverage characteristics and understanding the goal of retiring the convertible bond dated liabilities?
What I would say is 20 to 30% leverage is appropriate if you have a mix of bonds or mostly bonds on your balance sheet. But if you eliminate the bonds, which come due for cash, if they're not in the money, and you replace them with a preferred equity, then clearly it's reasonable to go beyond 20 to 30%, and you could look at 30 to 50%. We don't.
Okay, bunch of craziness. Now, speaking of crazy, I wanted to ask this question because this is part of what's had me captivated by XRP for all these years. Have you ever wondered why all the Bitcoin guys, all the Ethereum guys, they are literally on a rotation to go on CNBC and talk about nothing but price? But at the same time, anytime you see Brad Garlinghouse or a Chris Larson on any of these, they never talk about the XRP price. To me, that is a tell, folks. That's always been a tell. It's like they're putting the clowns on to talk about nothing but price, but in the background, the real deal.
The world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, lower this morning. MicroStrategy is now known as simply a strategy, reported its best quarterly profit ever, well above.
Price. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is what we've been served up for all these years. Well, I had always wondered, Tim Draper's one of the guys, nice guy. I think he's one of the good guys, Bitcoin Maxi type good guys. But I've always wondered why. I mean, I know he's talking his book. Why he's on Bitcoin? He's always talking about Bitcoin and the price and what he thinks the price will go to. But nobody except me, to my knowledge, has ever asked him. Well, wait a minute. I didn't say I don't believe this. But I said, I hear you talk about Bitcoin all the time. What about XRP? Do you hold XRP? And I got the answer out of him back in 2024, maybe before that.
Currency, yes. I'm an owner of Ripple, or XRP. I'm an owner of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Tezos. I'm an owner of Aragon. I'm a believer. I think this is...
That is all I needed to hear because I knew it before I asked the question. I didn't know it from any facts. I just knew in my gut. And you have to, let's never forget how these Wall Street and VC type people operate. They talk about the thing that they already own. Okay, they really, their bags, they accumulate in secret and then they talk about it. I've always believed that that's how this XRP story ends. I think that this script will flip. I think that once you get regulations and once everything is finally set and the utility finally kicks in, I believe you're going to be seeing people talk about the XRP price left and right, CNBC and every other media outlet you can even think of. I think that's how this story ends. Now, for years, people in the XRP community have talked about how XRP, it's plans within plans. That's what we're going to talk about in the group. Plans within plans, because that's what I believe this has always been. You can go to daixrp.com to join the Patreon, or you can click the join button below any of my YouTube videos, or you can go hit the subscribe button on X to join. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.